Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel where today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I normally do top 5 videos on what you should do in the game. The best ways to do things, best tips, stuff like that. So this one's a little bit different in the sense that this is my top 5 things that you should never do in World of Tanks console. So without further ado, let's jump into this list. Alright, first on the list we have never sell a premium tank. The reason this is number 1 on my list is because I have had several conversations with people about whether or not you should keep tanks, and so many people I've spoken to have said, oh, I sold this premium because I didn't like it. I sold that premium because I never played it. Well, that might all be true, but wargaming has a habit of, well, giving away war chests for free. If you complete the long haul, you get a war chest. And that right there is an example of a time when you could potentially grab yourself a premium tank. And what happens is, well, you open the chest, you get the premium tank. But if you already own that premium tank, what you're going to get is the gold equivalent of that tank. So if you're interested in bagging yourself some free gold, never sell a premium tank. And if you don't believe me, check out this clip right here.
Oh, got a war chest. Let me open that a second. Ta-da! Ooh! I got the Awful Panther. I already own that one, so how much gold is that? 5,000!
No.
That's 5,000 gold I didn't have before. Result.
Alright, number 2 on my list is never cap when your team can kill the enemy team. Why is this a big one? Well, if you're new to the game, you might think that this isn't that big a deal. A win is a win, and to some extent you are right. A win is a win. But there are some people that play the game that are interested in earning as much damage and assist and what have you in game as possible for every game, and the reason they want to do this is because they're working towards something called their mark of excellence. You may have seen it in game, but some tanks, I don't know if you can see it on this tank at the moment. No, I don't think you can. I have one mark this thing, but you can't see it at the moment. But basically, marks are graphics that show up on your barrel that indicate that you are of a certain percentage skill base, basically. So 1 mark is you're better than 65% of people that play the tank. A 2 mark is you're better than 85% of people that play the tank. A 3 mark is you're better than 95% of people that play the tank. And the 4th mark is the gold mark, and that basically means you are the best player in that. When you earn the gold mark, you are the best player in that tank for that moment in time. So yes, these things can be highly sought after, and they take a lot of work to earn. Progress for these marks can be very, very slow, and losing the progress that you've earned can be very, very quick. It can take 4 games to earn 1%, and that 1% can be gone in one terrible game. And the reason you never cap is because you have no idea what people are working towards. If you rush to the cap and cap out within the first 2 minutes of the game, yes, you've won. But you've possibly screwed over several people on your team who were quite innocently working towards their marks, and they have lost their progress, not because the team lost, not because they did anything wrong, but because somebody capped the game out in 2 minutes and they didn't get enough time to do the damage they need in their tank. So that is the reason why never cap when your team can kill the enemy team is number 2 on my list. Alright, number 3, we have never drive directly behind someone. This might sound trivial. You might think, well, why does it matter? Well, I have had it several times. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to clip it, but it happened to me recently where on this map, I was driving from the south-western spawn up the 1 line, looking across to the enemy spawn with my ATGM zoomed in. and I spot a tank. So as I'm going forwards, I think, I need to stop, I need to reverse because there's a tree blocking my line of sight because I drove too far. And as I try and reverse, boom, someone straight up behind me stops me from reversing. Now this might sound like, well, it's not a big deal. Well, yeah, maybe in that example it's not a big deal. But the times when it is a big deal is when your team is working a corner and you peek the corner, you take a shot, you try and reverse back around the corner, and somebody on your team is sitting directly behind you, blocking you from reversing, which means that you then take 2 or 3 shots on the enemy team because you simply couldn't get out of harm's way, basically. So yeah, sometimes you can think, it's not that big a deal, but other times it really does make a huge difference to your game and the game of your team. So that is why number 3, never drive or sit directly behind someone. Okay, number 4, never play the game like you're entitled to anything. I have seen this, I've been playing for 6.5 years now. I have seen this so many times where a game starts and a faster light tank pushes up a flank, sits in a bush, spotting. And then someone else on the team decides that, hey, that's my bush. I own that bush. That is my map location. It's got my name on it. That's where I want to be. And because that's where I want to be, I'm going to push you out the way. No, never do that. If the position that you wanted is taken by somebody else, go find a different position. Use the grey stuff in between your ears. Figure out where to go. That doesn't involve you shoving a teammate or anybody out of cover, because that is, well, it's quite frankly terrible behavior and you should never do it. So that is why I say never play like you're entitled to anything in this game, because quite frankly none of us are entitled to anything. We have to use our brains to figure out ways around the things that slightly irritate us. Alright, number 5 on my list is never deliberately kill yourself. This doesn't happen as often as it does in World War II. In Cold War, I mean. This doesn't happen that often in Cold War as it does in World War II. But basically, never ever decide that killing yourself is better than facing what's left of the enemy team. I have seen so many games where it's been one person against 4 or 5, and as luck would have it, they pull off the win. I've seen it a few times, but what I've seen more often is people decide that the odds against them are too much and they're just going to quit. They're just going to take themselves out because, well, they decide that they've got a crystal ball and they know the future, and yeah, they take themselves out. I think that's just ridiculous. Never do that. You should go down swinging. Face the fight in front of you like a man. Yes, you should face the enemy team and let them take you out, because that is the, well, it's the honourable thing to do, really, isn't it? You should face the enemy team even if you're outnumbered, because you never know. You don't know. You might pull off the win. You do not know what will happen if it's just you against the rest of the enemy team. So that is why number 5 on my list is never deliberately kill yourself. Alright guys, that is my top 5 nevers for World of Tanks console. If you've enjoyed this video, please leave it a like, if not a dislike, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one.